Hello, I'm Chief Randazzo with the Macomb County Animal Control. The following program is designed to inform you, the residents of Macomb County, of animal welfare issues that are taking place in our neighborhoods. So stay tuned. I hope you enjoy it. When you're purchasing a dog from a breeder, right, and there are reputable breeders out there, but you need to go to the property. If they're not willing to show you mom and dad and their property and how they rear their young, to me, those are red flags. Because a really good reputable breeder will say, yes, please come and visit, my facility. And they also should be interviewing you. Are you really the person that should be adopting this breed of dog? So I think those are important takeaways. That you get to go to the facility, whether it's the residential home or a facility, definitely make sure you're seeing where mom and dad were bred, where the litter's being raised, and they're showing you, walking you around the property. And then you get to actually physically see where your dog's coming from. So we are called from the director of St. Clair County Animal Control to assist them on a large hoarding case where a person was breeding a large amount of German Shepherds. Upon arrival, we could tell that there was an abundance of German Shepherds, and unfortunately kept in very unsanitary and poor conditions. So upon inspection of all the kennels, the dogs were kept in very dark. The ones that were in the barn were kept in very dark quarters. There was limited food. They were very thin. Most of them that we tested on site definitely probably had parasites. And then when we got them back here, we could see that most of them, you could tell, had been in their cages for very long times because all they would do is just spin. So we know that there wasn't a lot of hands-on with them, that most of them were just breeding stock. Life for them on the property, in my opinion, was very dim and dismal for them. And that's why I do believe that breeding facilities should definitely be regulated. And that would have been a farm that definitely would have been regulated by Michigan Department of Ag, and then probably as well as St. Clair County Animal Control. But then once we got them here, we realized that once we could attend to their medical needs, so whether it's intestinal parasites, and then had some training with them, then we realized that most of the dogs were all recoverable. So I think important takeaways from situations like this is that the communities keep in mind that it's St. Clair County Animal Control. They have one animal cruelty investigator. They have one director. Both are very experienced people. But now you're talking over 80 dogs from one facility, right? From one piece of property. So even though the Macomb County Animal Control comes in and we're a larger organization and unit, now all of a sudden we're taking 27 of those dogs day one, and it does overwhelm the resources. So someone's bad decisions to allow animals to live in this condition, to think that they're having this massive breeding farm, keep dogs in these deplorable conditions, overwhelms the resources because we cannot leave the dogs in that condition once you see it. You're looking at dogs, standing hock deep in feces and twirling around because most of them were kept in small crates that couldn't even stand up or turn around in. So we're taking all the dogs off this property, and it does overwhelm our resources specifically for that day, because now instead of having maybe 4 people come in, kennel techs, vet techs come in the next day, everybody's coming in. We need all hands on deck. We need all the veterinarians to come in. We have to utilize all our resources. So if you think about just the diagnostic testing for parasites and flea prevention, blood work that has to go into all of that in the next few days, that's just processing those animals. Now we're just dealing with the medical piece, and really now we have to also consider the emotional toll that these dogs have been through. And how are we going to work with that? So it's bringing in trainers and our staff to work with them every single day. It was really amazing to see them actually be able to run around in large yards, jump in and out of the pools, and interact with each other. That to me was kind of like, yep, it was worth all the countless hours that we spent at that farm.
the idea of law enforcement in general was always an interest of mine, and when I realized that animal control was a thing, I've always been a guy who loves animals, so I just decided to get into it to see if there was any way I could positively impact the animal industry. So we went ahead and left a trap over at a resident's house that has some feral kittens that she's trying to get trapped, so we can go ahead and try to find them homes to get them out of her backyard. All right, so now we can go ahead and let them calm back down, so hopefully later on this evening she can get them trapped for us.
Yeah, so our robust TNR program is specific for our cats. We call it Community Cat Program. We drop off the traps. If the resident has a cat in the trap, we either can go out and pick it up, or they're more than welcome to bring the cat back to animal control. And then from there, we partner with All About Animals and Warren, and then that cat is scheduled to, or cat or kittens, are scheduled to be spayed or neutered, vaccinated, and definitely ear tipped, so that people in the future will know that cat is part of a program. We started this program in 2013 with the amazing support from Mark Hackle and the county executive team, and also with All About Animals. So it's Amber Sitko, the founder of All About Animals, and her amazing staff. And we are just featured on Best Friends Animal Society out of Utah, because we have a very robust TNR program. We are one of the first counties to have such a robust program. I think it's important that communities that are out there that want to start one, we already have the ordinance for you if you want to borrow it or make it into your own. But I definitely think that a TNR program is definitely the way to go for communities. So there's another responsibility that I think a lot of citizens may be not aware of, and that is Macomb County Animal Control is the only animal control division in the state that is picking up roadkill.
Yeah, it's definitely not the most pleasant part of our job, but we do our best to keep the roads clean. And unfortunately, every once in a while it does involve somebody's dog or cat. So we will pick those up as well, and if they do have a microchip, we will try to find the owner so they can lay their dog to rest or cat to rest properly.
We don't want our roadways littered with all this roadkill. And so we are definitely working on getting those picked up. Right now, we only have enough staff to do it on Wednesdays, but it is, it's important, you know, but it is time consuming. If you think of the entire county as a whole, of how much roadway there really is, and that we're actually picking it up for our residents as well. Important moments for us when we have animals that come into the facility is such things as in-kennel enrichment, right? Most animals that are coming into the facility are usually nervous. No matter how much we try to make the facility welcoming, it's a very scary moment for animals. And so we have to always put our best practices into play, and that is kennel enrichment. So giving them puzzles, walking through, as you will see that we had treats set up, little treat pouches, and we just throw them over. Anything to do for them that we could provide to them that would be soothing and calming and just take their minds away from the actual scary moments that they're faced, right? If you think of an owner died that loved their pet and now they're here at the facility, it's important that we definitely enact those best practices through kennel enrichment, and then also out of the kennel enrichment. So going into play groups, making the animals be in social groups, and keeping them socialized, and having volunteers come in and work with them and take them for walks. And I think those are really important that we need to always focus on, because I think it's really important to keep them, you know, in a sound state of mind and keep them active.
Sit. Good boy.
That whole enrichment piece, in the kennel, out of the kennel, working with the volunteers, taking them for walks, all of that plays such an important role to the success for them to being adopted to an amazing family. When people come to animal control, they have this expectation that I think that, you know, most of the animals are abused or something like that, which is not the case. In some cases, it's, you know, their owner died and they were amazing dogs or cats, and that they just happened to be there's no next of kin, and so they're here. So we want to make sure that we're working with these animals and that we're keeping them enriched, we're keeping them motivated, so when they do go to meet an adopter, that they're behaved and that they have a better chance at successfully being adopted through fear-free training programs. Yeah, so we received a call from a dog owner that he had 15 Anatolian puppies, which is a very rare breed. They're really a livestock breed, so they're not for everybody, and that he had trouble placing them and he wants to bring them to animal control. So I kind of thought about that for a moment, and I felt like there was two things that we could do here. One, I want to talk to him. I want him to bring the puppies, but I want mom and dad too. Okay. All right, come here, boo-boos. Ooh, so my first initial moment when I see all these puppies is, one, they're adorable. They were just an adorable to see all these little faces. And then I think the reality comes in. Okay, now we have to find 15 individual homes that know this breed, and that we have to educate these residents or potential adopters on this breed. And I think then it becomes overwhelming, because as cute as they are, we have 15 puppies in the building that we have to take care of multiple times a day. And then we also have to look at enrichment. Remember, in the kennel, out of the kennel enrichment, training for them. So there's a lot that goes into this, because these are going to be big dogs. And I think that, you know, the initial piece is, oh my God, they're adorable. Then the second piece is, oh my God, this is going to be a lot of work. Oh my God, they're so cute.
Stan caught a black and white cat, except it had a black and white stripe.
You ready? Ready? We got to look at these little puppies?
Yeah.
Okay. This is Dr. Pasternak. She's our amazing vet. I'm going to look at his paperwork. He does have paperwork for vaccines. So in shelter medicine, we vaccinate every 3 weeks to they're about 17, 16 weeks old. So, but again, now we have 15 large breed puppies, and we have mom and dad, right? So I think what was important takeaways with this one was that we are going to have to be very conscious about training these dogs, get them socialized, because they only been with each other, and getting them socialized into play groups and enrichment, and then finding proper homes for them. Because not every home's a proper home for, you know, mom was 135 pounds. You know, dad was like probably 165 pounds. So these are not just everyday dogs for somebody. We wanted to make sure they went to specific homes, that people were knowledgeable about the breed. Second most important thing is mom and dad to be sterilized, because we don't want to have this again. The other two that you're deciding to keep, do you want to talk about us helping you get them fixed so we don't have any more puppies?
Well, I mean, the thing is, I never thought that this will happen with them, because the vet told me when they grow up together, they are not going to breed.
Are they related, mom and dad?
They are. The other one, the mom and dad, they are brother and sister, the ones that I'm bringing for them.
That is not good.
The sister never allowed the other one, the brother,
To mate.
to mate. Then the other ones, they are Old English sheepdog and Illyrian sheepdog. They grew up together.
But they're not related.
They are not related, but they will never allow. The female will never allow. I asked the vet says, like, because I wanted to fix them a long time ago.
Right.
They said since they grew up together, they are not gonna breed, you know what I mean? You need to separate them if you want to breed them. And that's why, you know, I thought, you know, like, never will happen, you know what I mean?
That is not a good bet.
Believe
And
me.
see
Yeah.
see how that advice paid off? No, so our whole goal is so you don't run into another situation.
I completely understand.
We'll help you pay for getting the ones you're going to keep, the adults, fixed so we don't have any more.
I'm gonna fix just the female.
Okay.
The male, I don't want it fixed, you know, the male, because somebody told me, you know, after he fixed his dog, you know, the male was like kind of like hurt and he would like just sit alone, you know what I mean?
That's not true. My dog's fixed, and we do shelter medicine, the vets and I. And I could tell you, especially dogs that have bred and probably going to be stayed intact males, they have a higher risk of testicular cancer. Because obviously if they're neutered, they're not gonna have any testicular cancer. But it's really healthy for them. And behaviorally, it's even better, right? Because we're talking big dogs. We don't want a bad situation. And it's a lot of work for you, you know? It's a lot of work.
In you go.
And so he agreed to all of that. And I think those are important educational moments that we don't want to just take puppies. We want to make sure that we don't come into this situation again. And a lot of that comes through us having agreements with those owners and doing random unannounced inspections. But kind of having this great relationship with our residents that we have to just look at the bigger picture here, right? If we're going to look at pet retention as we move forward, it's about making sure that, you know, can we meet the needs of these owners? And if this was an accidental breeding, okay, then we're going to make sure it doesn't happen again. And we use our welfare fund to pay for the spay and neutering of that, the mom and dad, so we don't have 15 more Anatolian puppies. Every single one of the puppies were placed. That was the amazing part of it, into proper homes. We did a lot of home inspections. We were doing a lot of really educating the potential adopters about the breed. And I think that that was, you know, a part of their success, and we had them all placed relatively quickly. So I think it's always important to highlight some of our nationally recognized moments. And so one of the most recent ones would be from the Dodo, which is definitely a Facebook page that I know that I follow, and over 60 million other people follow it as well. And that was from us rescuing 2 raccoons back to back, and one raccoon actually unfortunately had his head stuck in a sewer grate, and the Harrison Township Fire Department, as well as our team, went out there and were able to get the raccoon's head out of the sewer grate by using just actual household cooking oil. And then we also, next day, had a raccoon with a soup can stuck on his head, and again, we go out there, use the cooking oil, and get that raccoon, the can off that raccoon's head, and then send them on their way. And, you know, I think that's important because, you know, not only do we want to talk about all the things, the success that we do here with saving domestic animals' lives, but we are out there as well doing the same thing for all our amazing wildlife creatures. And I think that's important to always look at our nationally recognized moments.